So it's around 3 p.m. in the afternoon and we're walking on the trail, and you can see that there's a small herd of white-tailed deer browsing away in the woods. There's 4 deer, and you can see the underside of their tail is white, where they get their name, the white-tailed deer. These deer are prolific. They live very well in association with humans, unfortunately. Most of their predators are no longer around. Their main predator in these woods would be humans. There are some controlled hunts that happen in these woods to try and knock down the population a little bit, mostly through archery to keep everybody safe. And so a little bit about the white-tailed deer is they are a ruminant, which means they've got 4 stomachs like a cow, and they're able to eat all sorts of green things and thrive on that. You can see them eating the trees, they eat things on the ground, and our forests, consequently, are turning into pretty much just deer-resistant species. If there's anything in these woods that deer like to eat, then they eat them up and those plants don't survive. So the deer are really damaging our local forests, because any little baby trees that try and grow get eaten up by deer, which is really unfortunate. So I consider these guys a pest. When there's not, do you see the deer in the woods? This time of year, you're not going to see any with antlers. They're going to start, the male deer have antlers and the female deer don't. You're going to start to see the males growing antlers. They put out their antlers in the springtime, and that far one actually might have the beginning of antlers there, I think I can see. They actually grow their antlers each year, and they come up with this velvety fuzz that actually has veins in it and everything over it. And depending on how good their nutrition is and how healthy the deer is, they'll grow bigger antlers. The antlers will grow throughout the year, and eventually all that velvet and fuzz that's over the antlers will fall off. They get really itchy and they rub their head on the on trees and stuff to rub off the velvet off of their antlers. And then by the fall, they've got very impressive antlers that they use to, when they're in rut, it's called, when they're fighting with other males in competition for females. And so in the fall, that's when you find deer running out into the roads, females running away from males that are being chased by the males, because that's breeding season. The females are pregnant throughout the winter, and any day now we're going to start to see little fawns in the woods. So the fawns are tiny. They come out maybe about the size of a big dog with white spots all over them, and females have 1 to 3 fawns, usually 1 or 2, and they're really cute. So we're going to start to see fawns in our woods as these pregnant females give birth. And then throughout the summer you'll start to see the males being able to tell the males from the females more easily because of seeing the antlers. If you go in our woods, you can find all of the different signs of deer in like 2 hours, and maybe I'll do a video where I do this. I've gone in the woods and found all the signs of deer, which would be evidence on trees of where they've rubbed their horns or bitten on the bark. You can see along their trails where their hair gets caught on trees, so you can find the deer hair. There's, of course, their actual hoof prints, which they have cloven hooves that have kind of like a goat's hoof. So if you go in any of the sandy creek beds in our woods, you'll be able to see deer hoof prints and actually be able to tell which direction they were heading from their hoof prints. And then their scat, their poop, looks like little chocolate-covered raisins. They're little balls. So if you see a little pile of, look at him itching his chin, or her chin. If you see a little pile of what look like black balls, that's probably deer poop. And the trails themselves are pretty easy to spot in our woods. So if you're looking around and you're on one of our human paths and you see, oops, sorry about the video, and you see a faint trail through the woods, chances are that's a deer trail going through. So it's a little bit about the white-tailed deer, and I'll probably have more white-tailed deer videos. I'll do one where we do a little bit of tracking. Right now I have a baby stroller with me. It's hard to track deer through the woods with a baby stroller. But we will do that, and pretty soon we'll start to see some little fawns in the woods, and it'll be fun to see those. Although sometimes you don't see the fawns. The moms, if there's danger, the mother will tell the fawn to lay down in the grass and stay very still and very quiet, and she'll run away, hoping the predator follows her and doesn't get the fawn. And so I've been on horses riding through the woods and literally stumbled on top of these fawns that don't get up until we're literally on top of them. So sometimes you don't see the fawns, but all of our deer are pretty used to being around humans because we're all in the woods and they're in the woods, so they don't get too bothered by us and the fawns. Consequently, the moms won't tell the fawns to go hide. So keep an eye out for the white-tailed deer as the season progresses. Start to identify the males versus the females, and then in the next couple of months see if you can see some white spotted fawns that look like Bambi. All right.